It has been quite the journey for the Boozer family. They are in, of course, California for tonight's NCAA College Football Championship game. Georgia and TCU, and a great friend of our show, in fact, might have been the first person to say yes to being a sponsor of what we did and started back in April of 2020. That's a different story. Brad Boozer, his son Jake, is a part of the TCU football team. He played, of course, in college and also in the NFL. How much... When you sent me the text about the red carpet treatment, can you kind of try to explain that? And great to have you on the show.
Man, I tell you what, after what we did in Arizona last week, and the way they treated the players and the families and everybody there, man, it's that times a few more here at the national championship. And I'm standing in SoFi Stadium right now, and it is unbelievable. I see how they spent $9 billion on this thing.
Brad, Jake obviously and a lot of the guys there experienced the coaching change, and the vibe changed, everything changed. Was it early on when they figured that they might be able to do something special this year, or were they kind of like the rest of us going, when is this ride going to end?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. After they spent the summer with Kaz Kazadi and the strength coach and all the coaches and everybody they were around after, the coaching staff last year, I mean, Jake literally told me, he said, Dad, we're going to be really good. I said, well, are you going to be real good or really? He said, we could be really, really good. He said, we're going to win the Big 12. I said, y'all haven't even played a game yet. But, I mean, that was literally the feeling of him and all the other players that I got to meet and roommates. I mean, they have instilled a culture here at TCU that's literally second to none. And I mean, a lot of it's due to Kaz Kazadi. Y'all remember him at Baylor back under Browse, and I'm telling you, it's they've got something special going here.
Brad, what was that like to watch everything unfold last week? Obviously, that was an incredible game. There were plenty of people that didn't feel like TCU was going to stand much of a chance. Michigan would push them around up front, and quite the opposite happened. But just the dramatics, the flair, and what was on the line. Can you take us into your thoughts last week as they beat the Wolverines?
I mean, that was the most draining, epic, up and down football game I've ever experienced in my life, playing or watching. And just even when we were up by 18 or 19 points at one time, they came back. It was just, I mean, what a game. I mean, both games last week were probably the two best college football games back-to-back I've ever seen.
I was going to ask you that question. What is more nerve-wracking, or whatever the word or term is, watching TCU with Jake a part of it, or anything you experienced, and you basically just took that away from me?
I mean, I tell you, watching them and these kids, and the season they've had the last couple of years. I mean, you got to remember, and I don't think a lot of people understand, this TCU football team is the exact same football team they've had for the last 2 years. It's the same personnel, with the exception of maybe one or two guys, and it just took the change of Sonny Dykes and Kaz and the culture and Gillespie's defense and what they're doing. I mean, it's truly turned it upside down. I mean, the coaches turned a team around with the exact same personnel and turned it into what it is.
What is the vibe around Fort Worth changed for them, and the way that people react to them on campus?
I mean, as far as on campus, I mean, I saw a deal today that TCU's early enrollment is up 31% already for this incoming year. Of people that wanting to come to TCU is but even everybody around. I mean, everybody in Waco, all my friends, and no matter what school you're pulling for. I mean, how good is this for the Big 12? I mean, this is amazing for the Big 12.
Brad, what is it about Sonny Dykes? I mean, can I ask you, you mentioned Kaz, the coordinators obviously play a big role as well. And you mentioned just the change, pretty much the same roster, but just different, mentality. What is it about him that seemed to put all the pieces together?
I think it's just, relating to the kids and the way that they treat them, the way that they treat everybody equal, that it doesn't matter if you're 0-star or 5-star or 3-star. I mean, you're going to be there at 5:30 in the morning, and if you miss workout, you're doing this. I mean, there is no prima donna special treatment for any of the guys, which we've all seen in the past at every program. But I mean, they don't play. I mean, everybody is equal and everybody does the same thing, and I think they've all bought into it.
So I remember even 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even when Jake was just entering Riker, and also, of course, you have your sons and others, where you were having workouts, maybe during COVID, right, in your garage when everything was shut down.
We did. We had probably 12 or 15 kids that would come out to my house, and I would lead the workouts, and we would do it out there on our own, just away from everybody.
So who's all there with you, the family, and also I know you said did Kevin Hoffman from Mart High School, is he out there too?
He did. He's actually eating a hot dog right now, about 10 feet away from me, and and my son and wife and his girlfriend and Jerry's with Kevin, and so the 6 of us are here at the game.
Brad, what is more unlikely? Because you've known me for a long time. Me, like I did in June, walking in and buying a ring from you, or TCU coming out of nowhere and winning a national championship? Or is it all part of the same, the world is upside down thing that happened?
Well, I tell you, like I just told a guy a minute ago from Georgia when he didn't think I was for TCU because I've got a black Carter Boy shirt on. And I said, think about it. I said, we pretty much beat up on Michigan a little bit. Michigan beat up on Ohio State a lot, and the only reason y'all are here is because you got a kicker that shanked his field goal and pulled it wide left, and he didn't like that. But I mean, but I mean that's the truth. I mean, you think about what Michigan did to Ohio State, and then what Ohio State did to Michigan. I mean, to Georgia, and think about it. Last week, what Ohio State had 4 starters out, and 12 had the flu the whole week before the game, and they still almost beat Georgia. So anything's possible, man, on any given Sunday, right? Or Monday.
Yeah, well, on Monday night. How has Jake handled all this?
I mean, it's definitely a different role than he's used to playing. You know, all these kids come out of high school and they're the guy and they play, and you know, coming in and now you're running the scout team and you're working with the first offense and you're running defense against them, and so your role is totally different than what it was, you know, your whole life. So it's a little bit of adjustment there, but I mean, this is such an unselfish team, and like I said, these all guys just want to win. And Max Duggan and the way he takes and looks at the game has literally bled over to everyone, and that's just how they all feel.
And there's this Central Texas connection with your son, Quentin, Trey, Tomlinson, Hodges Tomlinson, of course, and of course Jared Wiley, among some others. There's also those on staff. Carlton Buckles, you mentioned Kaz. I believe there's a former Colleen player or coach that's on the staff as an analyst. So you played the game. Can you give us a little bit of an X's and O's of what you think TCU must be able to do?
I just think that we're going to have to take that speed part of our game, which we did last week, and we're going to have to get the ball, to Tay Barber and Dede a lot more this week, because I think they're going to cover up Q and try and double team him. But if we can get those 2 guys the ball and then let DeMarcado come out there and run the ball, I'm not sure if Kendre's playing or not. I haven't heard, but I know he's not himself, and so I think that DeMarcado is going to come out there and hopefully we can establish a run game and open up the passing.
Well, it's in his backyard. He can see the stadium or where it is now from where he grew up, of course, in Inglewood. I had somebody on the chat, TJ, ask Mr. Boozer if the red carpet treatment affects either team. Is that good or bad?
I don't think it's good or bad either way. I mean these guys. I've got to know probably 15 or 20 of the guys, and the guys that are, the 11 starters on both sides of the ball, and man, they're just such humble, super nice guys. I mean, there is not a prima donna in the group, and I think that's one thing that's helped them, make this kind of team. You take a team like, you take Texas, for example, or Texas A&M, and I'm not throwing them under the bus, but I mean, they got all 5 stars and 4 stars. That's all they recruit. They only recruit the prima donnas. Well, you got to have some 0, 1, 2, 3 stars that come in there that work hard and, nose to the ground. And a lot of those prima donnas, they haven't been able to win with those in those big programs, except Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, they've learned how to make that work. But it's hard when that's all you recruit.
Go eat a hot dog. Go enjoy it. I know you are. Brad, I love the pictures on your Twitter feed, and enjoy the moment. I know you and the family and Kevin and Jerry will as well. Congratulations on a great year. Good luck tonight.
All right, y'all take care.
That's Brad Boozer. Boozer's Jewelers, in fact, I believe he was the first person to commit as a sponsor of our show. Rob Maxey at Ideal MRI was number 2, 1A, 1 and B from the first day we even started thinking about doing the radio show. So Jake was a quarterback.